Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Welcome to the Foot District Takeover. This is the last of the Foot District Takeover series for this edition, and today we are going to cover the most iconic shoe I think that ever existed, the Air Jordan 1. My name is Gerard Starkey, and we're going to get into this. Hello again. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, as I said, my name is Gerard Starkey. I'm a Michael Jordan PE collector. I do it primarily as a hobby, but I get quite involved with storytelling, helping auction houses, buying and selling high-end Michael Jordan PEs. But here we're talking about the most iconic shoe, and lucky for me, I'm friends with some of the biggest and best collectors in the world, and I am ecstatic that Ryan and James are joining us here at the Foot District Takeover. And let's bring Ryan on. Let's bring Ryan on.
How are you, sir?
What's up, Ryan? How are you? Welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Thank you. What an
Yeah,
amazing
thank you very
setup you
much.
have in the back there.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it.
Cool. So let's just get into it. Just tell the people who you are, where you're from, how long you've been collecting. Let's do a little introduction.
Yeah, my name's Ryan Scott. On Instagram, Scott Renus. I live in Kansas City in the U.S. Have been collecting, wearing Nikes and Jordans for as long as I can remember, but really started collecting around that 2001, 2002 era when I had worked at Foot Action in high school. So it really kind of took off since then. So really appreciate the opportunity, and we're gonna have some fun today.
No, no. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for like the last month. So, I mean, we obviously know each other a little bit, but I just can't wait to get into the depths of your collection today. So yeah, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Foot District appreciates you. Let's bring on our next panelist. That's James.
Gerard, how's it
Hey,
going, my
James.
man?
How
How
are
you
you? How
doing,
are you?
G?
I am good. I'm good. Me and James go way back, way back. We started hunting like 15 years ago plus, and we go way back. But I am thrilled to have both Ryan and you here because when it comes to OGs, you guys are like the best. There's no
Oh
doubt
man,
about
I'm
that.
glad to
But
be here. Glad to be here. I know we first met where like either I or you would buy a pair of shoes and we would contact each other. Oh, that was you. That was you. You know, as collectors, I'm sure I've done it with Ryan. We've done it with all of one another. We're all trying to hunt these things, and they kind of get dispersed around the collecting community. But I want to give a big shout out to Foot District for having me here today. A big shout out to UG for linking us all up. I've personally been collecting since the late 90s. I have a similar story to Ryan. I worked at a big box retailer, got into retros pretty heavily during the golden era of retros in the 2000s. And, I had the shoes at my fingertips. When you work at one of those stores, it was a lot easier back then than it is today as well. And, it just kind of took off from there. And I remember around 2009, I dumped a bunch of those 2000, 2001 retros and then just started focusing on vintage and OG stuff. Retros are going to always come around. Even in the 2000 era, some of those shoes had been retro 2 or 3 times already. So I didn't want to just keep buying every retro that comes out. So I decided, you know what, let me just start searching for these originals. And that's kind of just where it started for me personally.
cool, cool. Yeah, no, I understand the transitions you've gone through because we've all been through them as collectors. And man, I'm looking at your guys' setups behind you, and I feel terrible. I mean, I've got about 150 messages about people telling me to grab out the shot, get dunk. So people, I would love to, but I'm not here to flex. This is the time for my guys Ryan and James to show you guys what is basically one of the best Jordan 1 collections in the world. But let's just get straight into some thoughts. Why is this Air Jordan 1 the most iconic shoe in the world?
Ryan, you want to start us off?
Yeah.
Wait a sec. Yeah,
no
so
doubt.
as I said, we're going.
Please, Gerard, go ahead.
Yeah, so as I said, we're going to discuss why this shoe is the most iconic shoe. I mean, yeah, you kick it off. You kick it off, Ryan. Go it. Take the mic.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, when you talk about where the sneaker industry is today and the culture of everything, where would that be without that foundation? And when you look at his rookie highlights, I think a lot of us were reminded of this watching The Last Dance this past year, on the significance that he had as a young kid taking the league by storm and how that impacted the sneaker community as a whole. I was too young to recognize it at the time. I was just a kid back then. But certainly laying that foundation is what makes that the iconic shoe today. And then another thing that I'll mention with specifics to Air Jordan 1s, I'm sure we will get into this in much more detail later, but just the mystery associated to this. I mean, when these were coming out, there wasn't the sneaker culture that we have today. So there's not a lot of record keeping back then. We don't know specifically when certain models came out, how many were produced, if they were regional, things like that. So for me, it's been a lot of fun to try to go back in time, put the pieces together, and figure out that story of this iconic shoe.
Yeah. What about you, James? Why do you think this is the most iconic shoe out there?
Oh man, where do we start? Where do we start with this one? From a collector standpoint, it was the first of the line of the Air Jordan line. So obviously, from a collector standpoint, you want to complete the Jordan 1 set, and it's obviously the most difficult set to complete. There's over 20 colorways that were general releases, plus some sample colorways that are out there, plus some collegiate colorways. The shoe took on many different morphs throughout the years, and even till this day, we're still buying them 35 years later. And it's arguably the most hyped up shoe as far as OGs go and as far as retros go. The solidarity that it's had in the community is just, I want to say there was a little bit of luck behind it because, having a signature shoe last for 35 years is just remarkable, and it's not something that could have really ever been planned, I don't think. And I think Nike with the Jordan 1, they did a great job with the marketing, 20 plus colorways, and you didn't see that with the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, the 5s. They toned those all down to like 5 or 6 colorways. So, the Jordan 1 set is always the most fun to try and complete. And they do technically last the longest. You don't have to get them restored. The midsoles don't have to get swapped, as they say. I could probably keep going on all day with why the Jordan 1 is so iconic, but those are just a couple of the reasons for me.
Yeah, I really like those two insightful kind of views as to why they're iconic. I mean, for me personally, it's all about longevity. It's always been about longevity, and the silhouette has lasted 35, 36 years. It's simple yet relevant, as relevant today as it was back in the day when shoes were much less, well, obviously a lot less tech than they are today. I mean, you don't have to change anything on the Jordan 1. And for us OG collectors, the OG colorways come out. You get new colorways you didn't see, which you may disagree with. You get great collaborations that come out as well. So it's just, I think the shoe is so iconic because the silhouette just lasts, and it is one of the best templates to do anything with effectively, And I love also Ryan's thought about the mystery, because there's so many levels of mystery here, because this is the start. This is the start of a brand. This is the start of one of the most amazing athletes in the world. Obviously, Michael Jordan is respected not just in basketball, but throughout all sports. He is literally one of the most competitive and decorated athletes out there, and rightfully so, because he put in a lot of effort. But when the mystery around the Jordan 1 was, is this really his first shoe? We've got the whole band story. I like the fact that there are so many original colorways, and as Ryan was saying, we don't know where they really came from ultimately because most of these shoes ended on the sales racks back in the day. I mean, you were buying metallic oranges in outlets for like $29.99, and I'm a skateboarder. Some of you may know I'm a skateboarder. I still skate today, and I enjoy it. And Jordan 1 has a rich history there as well. So for me, it's just something that has always been there. It's always been present in everything that I love in terms of hobbies: basketball, skateboarding, collecting, and it is generally the template for all modern basketball shoes. I think in terms of they want to have something that lasts that long, but not. I don't think there is a shoe out there. I mean, I know in the other Foot District takeovers we covered the Air Force One. Uh, we covered the Hirachi. Yeah, shout out to Brandon and to Louise for those. Those are really great. But I don't think any of them is as iconic as the Air Jordan 1. And I might get a bunch of hate mail and people sliding to my DM with aggressive messages, but the Air Jordan 1 is the most iconic shoe. I mean, so
without question.
Let's get into this iconic shoe.
The only other shoe that could be arguable as iconic as the Jordan 11. Obviously, it's a little different, but nothing is going to take away from the Jordan 1. Even to this day, we are still hyping up Jordan 1s 35 years later.
Yeah.
And by we, I mean the brand.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the brand, it's the whole community. The whole community loves them some Jordan 1s. That's just a fact. We all like Jordan 1s, right? I mean, I came on this call because I wanted to set this up so that I could see one of the world's greatest 1985 Jordan 1 collections. So let's get straight into this 1985 Jordan 1 set. Hey, welcome back, guys. So, as a collector, I know that what these two guys have achieved and what we're going to look through today is literally one of the hardest things to do. I mean, I collect MJ Gamers now. I used to collect OGs. MJ Gamers are hard, and now it's even harder because it's a value, it's a price issue. It's unaffordable. But when you're trying to piece together a collection, sometimes people just piece it together in lots of little bits. Some people go at it with a really clear method and aesthetic they want to kind of end up with. And I'm a bit of a nerd. I'm an actuary by profession, so my brain works in very clean processes. And having watched Ryan and James and build their collections over the last 10, 15 years, this is one of the most painful things to do, and not just financially. The financial investment is minimal compared to the effort that is required to build a collection like these guys have built, especially when it comes to Jordan 1s. I mean, the guys will agree with me that I got to give my hats off to Rolo, to Dylan, and to Marco. And these are three guys that we all know well. And hopefully if you guys probably know who we're talking about. These guys have pieced together 1985 Air Jordan 1 collections. But, they have some dead stock. They have some really used. They have some mildly used. But even to piece that together, it is near impossible. So what we're going to look at now is effectively a dead stock 1985 Air Jordan 1 collection. Every single colorway, all the highs and the lows, all the bells and whistles. Now, I think we've got a 9 out of 10 black toe, and I think we have our purple is maybe an 8, 8.5. Am I right, or am I being too kind?
You might be being a little too kind, but you know what? It's fair because they're so hard to find, and the restoration process on these is so easy compared to other models. Even a really, really beat Air Jordan 1 can be restored to look amazing. And that's also another reason why I think, the shoe remains to be iconic, because even after you restore it, it could still be worn if you wanted to. It doesn't have the delicate materials on the upper. They're really tanks, and they really do withstand the test of time.
But we are looking at a 90% completely dead stock Air Jordan 1 1985 set now. So I take the point. I'm going to still give it an 8 because it's a purple and it's super hard. And I love a black toe, so I'm going to stick with my 9.5. But I will let you guys take it away, and let's do it in like an order. Let's cover the Chicago colorways and the traditional MJ colorways. Then let's cover the kind of Kentuckys and the black and whites in the middle, and then let's do the really rare, hard to get, break your balls, waste your lack of sleep pairs that you haunted on every single website. So shout out to eBay, shout out to the OG resellers, shout out to Joust and Japanese eBay. We really appreciate you, and I'm so glad that you have engaged with Ryan and James so they can show us this today. So I'll let you guys just get into it, and let's just go through it model so you guys can do it as you please. Who
James,
wants to start?
Let's start with Chicago, buddy.
Let's do it. I'm gonna bust out
There's
mine
probably
right
two
here.
pretty clean pairs here, right?
Yeah, I do love a Chicago.
This was actually the first
1985
pair that I ever had.
This is also my first
1985
1985 pair as well.
So sick. Yeah.
Ryan, did you say
never
that was your first 85 model?
It was. Yep.
It was mine as well. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. I decided to start with a Chicago.
Yeah, no doubt. I think when I bought this, I had no clue how many colorways actually existed. I knew there were a lot. No clue that there was 20, arguably more than that. So yeah, I had no idea what rabbit hole I was jumping into.
Shout out to Simon Depeche Mode for this pair.
When'd you get that one, James?
We didn't meet each other on IG till a lot later, but I had bought this pair from him off eBay many years earlier, and then kind of had like put two and two together.
When did you guys get these pairs?
He's another good dude.
When did you guys get these pairs?
I think mine was around 2010 when I got this. I'm just going off of memory here. I'm going to guess 2010.
I think mine was 2008.
Sick.
Yeah, my pair,
let's get
I
on to
the audio is working, but I think I got mine around 08.
Okay, let's go on to the black red. Who's going to crack out the black red? We don't both have to get them out. Let's just see the mintiest pair you got. Ooh, Ryan's got it.
Yeah, I like that. Let's show the minty ones.
Let's go mint. Let's go mint. Yeah, that's a nice pair.
It's and the quality of the leather is just beautiful. You're always going to have some issues with the collars here, things like that. But anybody that's ever bought a pair of vintage sneakers before, that's not going to stop you from getting a pair like this when the opportunity comes up. So black and red, beautiful sneaker right there.
Unless you get an MJ TYPS where the collar basically does not crack because they just superior materials.
It's funny you said that about the MJ TYPS. This is actually a retail 13.5. Very hard to find in this size.
The larger size as well, especially when you went past 12.5, 13, they also used superior materials, and that's kind of true for most models actually. So we're going to the black toe.
That's James.
It's my black toe. These have not been restored. I know that's big in the community, but not. I only have one pair in here that I'm going to show you today that's been restored. This pair has not. It's a 12.5, very gently used. Talk about hard to find nowadays, and if you do find a pair in decent condition from somebody that has an idea what they have, you're going to pay a lot of money. You can get lucky every now and then on eBay getting them for a steal, and maybe getting them from someone that may not know exactly what they have. But nowadays in 2021, pretty much everybody knows what's going on when it comes to these.
Hey, James, You know where I live, right? You can just ship that pair to me. That'd be nice. It's my birthday
No
later this year,
problem.
right?
I was
Cool.
just
Thank
thinking
you.
about the
Appreciate it.
13 and a half black and red.
Oh yeah.
It kind of falls in line with the whole PE theme you have going on.
Yeah. That would look amazing next to my dunk sole.
I got you.
Okay, so where are we going? We've done
Just
the
trade me the
Chicago.
dunk sole. Just trade me the dunk
Yeah,
sole. We're good.
Good. I'll send it to you right away. So we're now going on to the Royal. So this is one of the last kind of more standard MJ colorways. Even though he kind of mostly wore it in practice and exhibitions, obviously.
James, your pair
Yeah.
looks good, bro.
Yeah, this is a
Are
dead
we
stock
competing?
11 and a half. Really, really good condition. The collars have a little bit of that white stuff, but it cleans off pretty nicely.
Jesus.
It's not too terrible, really, for a 30, 35, 36-year-old shoe, right? Am I right?
Not
That's
bad.
incredible. You flexing there, James?
Slight flex. Okay, since
So
we're doing the blues, I'm going to do one of the blues that I know I've got dead stock, and I'll let Ryan take it over for the Kentuckies. But here's another one that's hard to find in dead stock condition. The Carolina colorway, or the UNC, or as labeled on the box, the powder blue.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a favorite, this is definitely in my top three. It's hard for me to pick a favorite. I'm not going to do that right now because it put me on the spot. But this would be in my top three.
That's an incredible pair, an incredible colorway, and obviously great homage to MJ's college. Amazing. I think
amazing.
it's grown on me so much, that light blue colorway, and I think as the older I get, the more I go from the traditional colorways to the kind of slightly more dampened colorways. But yeah, the Carolina is amazing.
It's
So I'll let
been
you
one of
guys
my
lead.
favorites.
Where are we going to next? Oh yeah.
Where are we going?
I'd like
Which
Ryan to
everybody?
pull his out. I'd like Ryan to pull his out. I'm just going to pull mine out. I know Ryan's is pure dead stock. Mine is near dead stock. But Ryan's Kentuckys are just absolutely beautiful.
Ryan's DMs are like blowing up right now. Like, I will give you X amount.
Everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
Holy moly is all I can say. I remember seeing that one come
you know
up,
what?
though.
You know what? I'll just throw this in here now for the folks that are listening. This pair came from Japan. It's I think that secret is out, so that's not really the gold mine that it used to be, because there's so many eyeballs in that territory now. But I used to get a majority of my items from Japan, back when it wasn't so well known that was like the haven. I think collectors always knew that there was always such a strong culture there, but I think since the hobby has expanded so much, that's a ruined secret at this point.
Shout out to Joust. Shout out to Japan eBay and China eBay, right?
That's right.
Yep.
I do remember seeing that pair, because I also trolled all those sites. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that the collectors that were collecting before us, and I've got a few great friends who have helped me collecting, advised me what I'm collecting, and they may be 5 or 10 years older than me, and they used to use the Japanese eBay flip and dip trick, and they would literally buy perfect dead stock metallics for like 300 to 400, and this is in like early 90s, and just think about what a dead stock Kentucky or dead stock metallic orange would sell for today. It's just insane. We're talking
Insane,
like
for sure.
10 to 20K is like the normal range, and if they're really, really good, it will just go to whatever the highest bidder is willing to pay.
The common pairs are selling for that now, so I don't even know what some of, like, the stuff that we get to at the end, some of the ones that are in James's possession, it's bananas, man.
Okay, let's go to the next colorway. Where we're at? Where we're going to?
Okay. I see you. A dead stock white and that gray, and I'm gonna raise you a dead stock
Is
white
that the
matte gray.
2021 version?
Some would think.
Jesus. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. It's an actual thing of beauty.
This shoe held up very well. I've seen a lot of this particular colorway that have held up quite well.
Jesus. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I'll have a good story about acquiring this pair later when we get into some of the stories. This is kind of cool how I came across this pair.
Cool. Okay, let's get into the other
I
model.
always love the shape that you see in the back. I just want to touch when the pair has just been sitting in the box for so many years, it just takes on this shape of just how it was like laying in the box. Like, I don't know, there's just something about that I just love.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. I'm a
maybe,
nerd.
Maybe that's how we tell if it's genuinely dead stock. We've had that conversation a lot, haven't we? Like, is it genuinely dead stock?
Yeah, we have. Some people are very confused on what dead stock means nowadays.
Yeah. All the recent eBay listings with like worn once Jordan Chicago's with like no sole at all, 10,000. Yeah, no.
It's
Hilarious.
like, come on.
Let's get on to the next model. Let's go.
Ryan, what do you want to do? You want to do some AJKOs? Okay, we're going to do the blacks and the whites. Okay.
We still got a couple more pairs of leathers to get through.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, you're both my friends,
James,
so I'm not going to like grade them, but this is crazy.
James,
Ryan's is one of those pure dead stock pairs. Mine was like one of those worn once pairs.
James, I had another pair of these that were worn, and I bought them from you. It was probably like 2016. Do you remember that?
I think I actually do remember that. Yeah, I do.
I remember.
And they actually weren't that bad of shape either.
No, they were fine. I sold them since then like an idiot. I could have cleaned up big time on them if I still had them nowadays.
It's not all about the money. It's not all about
the money. I recently sold a couple pairs on eBay for like a decent amount. I'm almost certain they probably got resold, but whatever. You know, I was just trying to give someone a decent opportunity to get like one of my doubles for a decent price.
I was more making a joke on just how much even used pairs are selling for now. I'm not a big seller actually. So, shadow time.
Shadow time. Jesus.
What size is yours? Mine's a 12 and a half.
Mine is a 10.
10. Nice.
Yours is dead stock, right, James?
No, this is one of those like worn once pairs.
Yeah, you know where to send it. You know where to send it, James. Just FedEx.
I'm sure you could do like the wet rag with the iron trick on the toe box and make them look good. But I'm not sweating it at all.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Sometimes, you know, you really get numb to the fact that you have all these, and you really have to go back and recollect what it took to get some of these. Like, it wasn't easy getting this done. And it did take a lot of time, a lot of focus. When pairs come up, you got to act quick because they could disappear into the ether in no time.
Remember that black toe on eBay?
Oh, the 13 and a half with no box lid? Of course.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Here's a question for both of you. Knowing how difficult the journey was, if you had to start today, would you even go down that path?
It's too expensive. It's too expensive. I'm a hardworking guy. I had multiple jobs to get what I have. To start collecting today, paying 8, 9, 10K for dead stock pairs, to get 20 pairs, do the math. And not only that, some of the pairs you're going to pay more than that because they're just non-existent.
Yeah.
You know,
it would be impossible to do today.
As time passes, we get a better idea of the rarity of some of these shoes when you don't see them pop up again. When you were like, man, I really wish I would have bid on that black metallic on eBay. Oh, I'll just wait till the next one pops up, but then it might not pop up for 5, 6 more years. It's just kind of weird how it works like that.
No doubt. I think that's all the leather pairs. I think we're ready for the metallics.
Ooh, this is rare. This is the rare section. Even though I would argue that a Kentucky in that condition is like a unicorn to me. But yeah, let's get into
Totally.
the metallics.
100%.
Jesus.
So this one was one of my favorites. Up until
Okay.
about a year ago, this had 0 cracks.
That's an amazing pair.
They're so bright white. I don't know if the lighting is doing them justice, but these really do look like they were produced yesterday.
Both amazing pairs. Right, next. Let's talk through the colorways. What was the name of this colorway? Just the official name?
Metallic blue on this one.
Yeah.
So I think the box actually says Met/B.
Yeah.
Actually
which is
matches
funny
the hat.
because I think actually when I won these, the seller had listed it just like Jordan Met/B, like he didn't know what they were, and that's how I scooped up this pair for cheap. If they just would have put like 1985 Air Jordan 1, there would have been a million eyeballs on it, but it was kind of an undercover listing.
So metallic
You gotta
blue.
love
We'll
those
go to
mislabeled listings.
Oh yeah,
True that.
we've all had them. You want to go Reds there, James?
Let's go Reds.
Yeah, let's go Reds. These pairs the pairs that we're both showing are kind of like sister pairs. I at one point had both of these, and there was a time came when me and Ryan spoke, and I sold these to him for what I paid.
Wow.
And I'm grateful for
That's
that.
love. That's love. That's friendship.
Not only that, I sold him the pair that has the box.
Oh, nice.
My pair actually does not have a box.
What about metallic greens?
But I
James?
would
You got
like
a
to
great
give
pair
a shout
of those.
out to my man Ridiculous Ricky. I got this from him many years ago, and he could have slapped me in the head harder, but he's a good dude. And, you know, ever since those days, me and him have been friends for like 15 years now, 10, 15 years.
Definitely shout out to Rick.
Let's go to the green, like you said, Ryan. Let's do the green.
This one's one I'm very excited for.
Get it out, James.
Mine's
I don't know
quite
of
beat.
anybody else that has a pure dead stock green metallic. I'm not saying they're not out there, but I don't know if I've seen one that's pure dead stock. And again, I got to give a shout out to my man Ridiculous Ricky. Really held me down.
Wow.
Crazy nice.
I'm Irish, so James, just send that one to me. That's great. That'd be great for St. Patrick's Day.
Lucky green.
Lucky green. Leprechaun green. Right, next.
That's not a...
Next.
Okay.
Let's go. Where are we going to? Orange?
We can go orange. We can go orange.
Yeah, I'm going to let Ryan take it over from here for the orange. Jesus. Actually, you know what, dude? It ain't even all that. This was earlier. I was telling you I had like one restored pair. I painted the uppers on these. When I got these, they looked like they were literally unearthed out of the ground.
But Ryan has a nice DS pair.
Ryan's got the crispiest pair I've ever seen.
Wow.
So I'll just put these away.
Fortunate enough to have the box with these as well.
That's rare. All the other OG collectors on the line are like, he's got the box.
Yeah, sometimes the box is the most rarest part of the whole set, you know?
That's true.
The box is becoming a whole separate collection on its own.
Exactly. Purples.
This is one of my more beat pairs, but anybody that knows the rarity, I mean, I had to jump on them when I could because they just don't pop up that often.
Yeah. I mean, the collectors out there.
We like to call these, Ryan and I like to call these placeholders.
Yeah. Hey, I think you got that term from me, James, way back in the day. I'm sure I taught you the placeholder.
I might have.
Placeholder.
The metallic on this pair is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it looks great. Hold in the middle there, James, so I can see the whole shoe.
Yep. I'm trying to do like a nice little 360 of this one because these are arguably one of the hardest colorways to find.
Yeah.
Purple's tough for sure, no doubt. You got
Okay,
you got some gems. You got some gems left.
So now since we're doing the metallic, what you got there, Ryan? Is that burgundy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Another one.
Oh my God.
Another one.
A lot of people
Shout
don't
out to the
actually.
homie Mark OG Archive for this one.
Yes. Shout out to Mark.
Major shout out.
A lot of people don't actually realize that this was a colorway. They're confused between the red and the wine or the burgundy, you know, whatever they want to call it. It's confusing. It's those slight subtle changes, which is what was cool about the Air Jordan 1. We were touching on it. Slight adjustments make the shoe so different, you know. But yeah, those are amazing.
And unicorns, no doubt. This was one of the last ones I tracked down. And I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've seen them for sale over the past probably decade, I would say. They're just so hard to find.
Right. How many more we got to go?
Ahead and pop up what I think is here he is right here. One of the rarest metallics, the black.
Yep. Yeah, nice dead stock pair, James. Jeez.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, this pair is true dead stock. I got to give Ryan a shout out because he had put me in touch with the seller that I bought my white and black pair from, and he later had this pair. And ultimately, both of these pairs are in my collection because of Ryan. So obviously, if this pair ever goes anywhere, it's only going to go to one other place.
Yep. Crazy that.
This
pair.
one I would consider
good home, brother.
This one I would consider the rarest pair of Jordan 1s in my collection. I consider these rarer than TYPS. I consider these just about as rare as it gets.
Yeah.
And truth be told, there's been a couple times over the years where I've texted James randomly and just said, hey, why don't you consider this offer for those metallic blacks? And he's never taken me up on it. But trust me, I've tried to pry him out of his hands a couple times.
Yeah. It's a sick pair. It is a rare pair. Yeah.
No doubt.
Okay, next.
I think all we have.
Where are we
I
going
think.
to?
I think all we have. I think all we have left are the low tops.
Yeah.
The low tops and the KOs.
Yep.
I'll let Ryan, because I know Ryan's got two dead stock pairs of low tops, so I'm gonna let him take over on the lows. But I'll just pop mine up here just to show y'all. I do have them. I ain't lying. This pair I actually got a really good deal back in the day. This was one of those placeholder pairs. Just kind of waited around for a dead stock pair. They haven't really popped up. You know, one pair popped up, and then it just kind of disappeared into the ether again.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Last pair.
Yeah. Crazy.
Before we get into the KOs.
I always love the sandpaper style swoosh that these have.
Yeah, the light's just super bright, Ryan. It's almost, they're so dead stock, the light's even not picking them up. The lows have grown on me. Yeah, it looks good. The lows have grown on me again as I got older. I mean, I guess because you're wearing more low tops as well. Because I wasn't a fan of the lows to start with, but those are nice, real nice.
The lows are starting to become unicorns as well, especially that gray color.
Yeah.
I mean, 85s in general. You know, this is how I describe it to people. You have so many more people looking for the shoes than there are shoes available. So there's only one thing's going to happen, you know, price is just going to go up.
Yeah. Because this, as we said, this is why it's the most iconic shoe. Even the market forces are telling us that. If we got all technical, supply demand is telling us what people want. And it's 1985 ones for the nostalgia, for the MJ factor, for the beginning factor, for the longevity factor. They're just rare. Love an AJKO, actually. They've grown on me as well. I used to hate them, but yeah.
Yeah, these were super underrated. They still are. Um, you know, the canvas, not my favorite, but the look I don't mind. I really don't.
Yeah.
Again, finding these with a box is very hard. I believe Ryan's got a box with his pair.
Yeah.
I do.
Mine's
I
a
don't know if a
size
lot of people know
13.
the box is this orange one right here,
Yeah.
up there in the corner. So the HAKO came with like a normal orange Nike box. It didn't have the black and red box, or the black and red box that the other 1985s came in.
Yeah, that was the same for like Michael Jordan's kind of P's and sample ones. They came in the orange Nike Jordan 1 style box. Sick. So is that it?
And what I
Is
love
that the
about
full
this
set?
pair, we got the logo in really good condition up here. The
Yeah,
logo is
that's always
always the
hard.
first part that peels off.
No, it's
The
amazing.
wide body.
So that's it. That's the 1985 set.
That's the
It's
set.
trailed and Etsy and like every other place. Whenever a new marketplace comes up, I'm there like looking. What you got? What you got?
Yeah.
You gotta
So
keep
now,
up, man.
since you guys have added so much value here and shown us some stuff, let's talk about some of the PE samples before we talk about the other samples. Because for me as a Michael Jordan collector, it was always about the TYPS Jordan 1. You know, the slightly lower cut, and we've got an image of it somewhere. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, I have a really
for
good
me.
video of it on my page. Anybody that's watching, if they want to get a nice good close up of a PE compared to a retail pair, I got a really cool video on my page.
Yeah, and this was the silhouette that I genuinely fell in love with when I saw it. I mean, the low cut uh, was amazing back then, but it was functional, right? So it was made for Michael Jordan. So his shoe was slightly lower at the back, and the arch was deeper, so it didn't impede his Achilles. And obviously the mismatch, uh, 13 and a half, added to that mystery factor that Ryan was alluding to earlier as well. So this was definitely a pair that you saw the retail pairs, you saw what MJ was wearing, you're like, what? But then the next sample that we can look at for MJ was another TYPS, but it was the one he used in the series against the Boston Celtics post his foot injury. So they adjusted the TYPS and added a strap to it, like the black leather strap on the side, and they've got the white ankle collar on the inside as well, just to give them that extra support. Because obviously, me as an MJ collector, this was the stuff that always intrigued me, and MJ was definitely one of the first main athletes to get a lot of samples. And then going on to the next model, we've got the 1.5, which he only really wore once or twice, and once in the game here, and you've got the Jordan 1 upper with the two sole, trying to provide more comfort, more cushioning for the post injury playing. I mean, that is a sick pair. Different colorways, different colorway on the branding. He's got the Nike Wings branding there. The tag on the tongue's different. All these little details that us collectors like. But then my favorite one, which is a favorite of a lot of people, is the almighty Jordan 1 dunk sole. And this goes, brings the dunk basketball shoe and the Jordan basketball shoe together. And yeah, you guys probably agree that it's one of the greatest shoes in existence. Man, I'm glad I got a pair of those way back in the day.
I mean, combining
But
two of the greatest models ever, a Jordan 1 and a dunk, I mean, how can you go wrong?
yeah, and it's one thing that's always intrigued me, that Michael Jordan's actual career as a Jordan brand athlete before he got his own line, but he was playing for the Bulls, actually started in the airship, not the dunk or the or the Jordan 1. But obviously, we know the band story, which we got a photo here of the band airship. That's the band shoe. I mean, we've covered this to death in the community.
We've
And
covered it.
it
I
was.
was just going to show them real quick, since we're talking about them. We got the airships.
You've got your airship, yeah. And then
And then,
obviously the
and then
first shoe
again,
to
we're going
date.
to give a massive shout out to Marco.
Yeah, big
with the
shout out to
backdoor
Marco.
release.
I was so it was so fun to be involved in that global release. Sick shoe. But yeah, so there's his black and red airship, the actual band shoe, not an Air Jordan 1. And then the shoe he actually debuted his regular season was the white and red airship, which you just showed us. But have you got your airship there, James?
I do.
Just hold that up
I
there
do.
so obviously people can.
This
That's
is
the
one of,
regular
again, I
airship.
got to give a shout out to my boy Ridiculous Ricky. This pair is dead stock with the original box and the original receipt purchased on Valentine's Day.
Again, you can send that to me. Thanks. I really appreciate you. That's just great. But you can see that the difference in the MJ airship and the airship that James is holding. The airship looks like an actual airship, and the airship MJ wears is effectively a Jordan 1. It's effectively a TYPS. So what other little gems and samples do you have there for us to have a look at?
Ryan's got a really cool AJKO.
Yeah, I don't have a ton. That's not really something that I ever put the focus into in the past, and I think that ship has certainly sailed, so I'm not going to try to do it now. But this is a kind of a cool one. Again, debate on whether this was a sample, whether it was released in certain countries, or if it was a widespread retail release. Not real sure. The experts within the vintage community, there's no real agreement. It's just kind of a, well, we'll never know. And I think that's what really makes the series themselves very cool. And particularly, well, here's one example of that.
Given the numbers out there,
Yeah.
I'm saying sample.
Those are amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've only seen a handful of those, that particular colorway. I know the gray and the blue are a little rare, but I mean, even 5 is rare. Even 10 is rare, you know?
Yeah. So what you got, James?
I have one right here I'll show, a little similar. This is a non-wings. It's going to have Nike Air up top. This was a collegiate sample. I believe this was for Chris Mullins.
Yeah, that was a Mullen
12
pair.
and a half. It's a really cool pair. Again, one of those, like, I guess not really a mystery behind it, but one of the offshoots.
Yeah, sick pair.
And I've seen
What else
an
you got?
orange one of these and a black one of these in the non-metallic. So I don't know how many colors of this they originally came out with, but I've seen other collectors with orange and black. So
Yeah.
it leads me to believe that there may even be other colors that have yet to surface. And then one of my favorite samples right here. I know there's a couple of these in existence, but I'm going to say I have one of the nicest ones out there. This is another Nike Wings logo. I'm going to back it up. I want to make sure. Yeah, let me get back a little bit.
Yeah, and that's got the very fine printed Nike wings, and it's got the dunkish sole on it as well.
Yes, correct. And it comes with this foreign tag. I'd actually like to give a. I'm not going to do too much with this one. I don't want y'all getting too crazy, but.
Yeah. Sick.
And on there, the tag says it's got the Nike Big on the back. So it's one of those weird conundrum samples. Like what exactly is it? What was it for? It's in a smaller size, so I think it was a possible sample prototype for either kids or maybe the next model that they wanted to release. You know how nowadays they'll do like the Jordan 1 Chicago Spider-Man trophy room. It's like almost like the same shoe with very little differences. Maybe they were just trying that back then. Who knows?
Since we're talking about
a very cool piece.
Since we're talking about some of the later releases, let's talk about that. I mean, we love a bit of nostalgia. We love talking about collecting. We love the old pairs. We love MJ. Let's talk about the later retros. So we still got the OGs and the amazing collections of Ryan and James in the back, but we're going to cover the retros because it is the most iconic shoe. It has lasted time. We've got hundreds of different colorways, the reissues of the OG colorways, which we all love. the the newer colorways that we're sometimes on the fence about, but sometimes they grow on us. You've got the great collaborations with artists. You've got the great collaborations with shops. So let's just go through some of the great releases. And I'm going to do something for the men and for the women. As I said, unfortunately, an amazing collector in Italy. She's a great friend of mine, Elena. She couldn't join us today. Because we definitely wanted to make sure that women were represented, because we feel that's super important, because we feel that they've also women have been a reason for so many great colorways coming out. So shout out to Elena, shout out to all the girls that were going to join us as well, but unfortunately couldn't because of technical reasons. So I'm going to cover my favorite colorways of the retros. Then I'm going to let Ryan and James have a go. I mean, my personal favorite of the retros in the last couple of years is definitely the Black Toe Union. Love that pair. Quality is so good, and it's just so hard to get. Luckily, I was able to get helped out there, so shout out to the people that helped me out. But probably the pair I wear the most, I think. Another pair that recently come out, which I like as well, because this goes back to the kind of the UNC in Carolina, the Hyper Royal, and just a great colorway. Just really liked it. Nice build. Looking forward to cracking these out on the basketball court. And for the ladies, I mean, I've got my gorgeous wife, and I'm a father of 3 girls. I have a son as well, but I have 3 girls, and I just thought the silver toe was amazing. I mean, I would never wear it myself. I have some male friends who wear it, but I thought for the women this was just amazing, and I thought the quality was good, and the colorway was great. What about you guys? What you got?
Well,
I would.
Oh, good.
Let's
Yeah,
start
I'll
with
just jump
Ryan.
in real quick, James. I would echo what you said about the unions. I think I personally don't own a pair of Union ones, but I think the creativity there. I also the backstory to Union. I really appreciate the Gibbs story. Um, that I think that's one of the coolest retro ones that I've seen in quite a while. As far as more mainstream releases, I've really enjoyed some of the more widespread releases. I think the simplistic colorways can go a long way. Ones that come to mind, I have them upstairs in my closet. The smoke grays, I thought that was a great release. I think that came out last year, and then the UNCs this year. Really loved the quality of the materials that they used, and the color blocking itself, I think, was just a home run. So not overcomplicated, but I thought really worked well.
Yeah, single colorway on it. Um, but yeah, I like the simple touch as well. The easy to, well, no Jordan 1 is actually easy to get, right? I mean, am I wrong in saying that? Not even
No,
the
you're
ugly
right.
ones are easy to get. But it's
I
just
mean, you can
amazing.
barely. Yeah, I was gonna say now. I touched on earlier with when they originally came out with the Jordan ones, they had 20 plus colorways. And the brand is kind of going back to the bombardment of the Jordan 1. If you count all the men's, women's, kids releases, all the low tops, the high tops, the mids. I mean, they probably have 100 different colors of Jordan 1s coming out in 2 years. So it's definitely, they're not making them because they're not selling. Like people are still buying them, they're selling, so they're still making them, and that's a testament in and of its own as well. Me personally, one of my favorite retros that I have right here is the Rust Pinks. These were released at boutiques here in Florida. I don't know if it was only Florida. I want to say that I got my Igloo Greens from Ama Manier. I don't know if I said that right, from New Orleans. So I don't know if this
Yeah.
was a Florida only release, but it was like supposed to be.
What happened
But
to me and Ryan's
these Rust
pair?
Pinks were one of my favorite ones. It takes a real man to wear pink.
Ryan, what happened to our pair? What did James? Why did you not hook us up? We're not in Florida. We don't have access to this cool stuff.
Oh, I didn't. I had no idea. I got you. I got a double.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, you know the FedEx. Put it in with the PEs and the size 13s, and we're good.
I got you.
Yeah. So let's go into another kind of topic. Have any of you guys got a really fun Jordan 1 story? I can kick it off if you want, or let one of you guys kick it off. Uh,
Let me ponder that for a second. You kick it off, and I'll think about it.
okay, yeah. I mean, I guess we're talking sneakers, so we're always going to get into kind of the reselling world of sneakers. When I actually linked up with Foot District for the first time, it's when I did the Grail tour, the Jordan 11 tour, which I was quite keen planning of that for for the global, for the brand at a kind of a European and global level. Um, and this is going back to my favorite model. This is how I was able to get the Union basically. Um, the we did this Jordan 11 release storytelling tour for the Concord when it came out, and I was out there at a booth with Concepts, and they were doing like drops. So, and every 20 minutes, something like that, there will be this drop on people's apps saying, "Oh yeah, this shoe's releasing." And the Jordan 1 came up, and it was the first Jordan of the day after the Concord that was being released. And one of the Jordan reps was like, "What should we do?" And I was like, "I know what I'm going to do," because I'd seen a store in Germany. I can't remember. I think it was Soulbox. Did a release where they had to wear the shoes. So I was like, "Hey everybody in the line, my name's Jared, and I'm the PE collector putting on the little exhibition today. To buy your Jordan 1 Unions, you gotta give us your shoes, put the shoes in the Jordan 1 box, wear the Unions, walk around this Soul convention for 2 hours, and then at the end take a group photo." And obviously you could tell the resellers and you could tell the guys who were real fans. The guys who were real fans were stoked, and the reseller guys were looking at me with like evil eyes, and they were doing the walk, but they had to lace them up. The girls in the store were so good, or the employees in the store were so good, and they basically made them lace it up so you had to crease it. And one of the coolest things I thought was I looked around and there were like 100 or 150 people wearing this amazing shoe in like one very small area. Because one of the things I hate um, about Jordans well, it just bugs me a bit. Not hate it, but it bugs me about the culture that nobody wears Jordans. I mean, I live in London. And I'm in Basel at the moment, but I live in London, and no one wears Jordans, and it bugs me. I'm like the oldest OAP walking around a city that I love, and I'm thinking people have to be wearing Jordans here, but there's literally nobody, you know. And I've tried to track it down, and I just don't know where they're all coming from. Most of the guys who wear Jordans who come into London are outside of London. I'm like, let's stop reselling the shoes, just wear them. But which is why I made these guys wear the Unions. And some people will hate me for it, some people will love me for it, but it was cool to have that football team style photo with 150 kids wearing Union ones. It was hilarious. I wish I had the photo here to show you guys. That's my funny Jordan 1 story. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, the so I'll give two. First, I'll give my favorite moment just like from the culture, from the NBA culture, and that was the '98 game where Jordan broke out the retros that had come out in the mid '90s to play his final game at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. Iconic moment. It killed his feet. It hurt him, but that was a sign and a symbol that he knew what that sneaker meant. And as he was on his retirement tour, it was the last time he was playing the Knicks. He laces them up, plays in the game. Fantastic story. So that's my favorite moment from like the NBA culture side. From my personal collection, I'll show you these again. The white and gray ones. The reason that this is one of my favorite stories is I remember bidding on those when I was in college. Now, remember, I didn't get my Chicago's till like 2010 or something like that. I was in college in like 2004, 2005, and I was trying to win those on auction. I ended up losing, and afterwards talked to a friend on the phone, and he's like, "Oh no, I won those." And I was like, "Oh man, I was bidding against you." So we probably bid each other up a little bit. Fast forward a couple years, he was looking to get rid of them, and he called me up and he's like, "Hey, I bought those for whatever, and we've been close. If you want to buy these for that amount, you can have them." And so he was looking to get out, I was looking to consume, and that's how I landed them.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like the MJ story, and obviously there's the inaccuracy in MJ's own when he says, "Oh, these are the pair I debuted in Madison Square Garden," where his debut was actually the ship. But it goes to show that even MJ himself knew that that shoe that he was wearing was like was it. That shoe was the icon. He needed to bring it back and debut it, even with the pain. What about you, James? Any funny, interesting Jordan 1 stories, hunting stories?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
kind of like an acquisition story. And I'm only going to say it's funny just because of like where we're at today. I traded two DS pairs of OGs for these Nike wing samples right here.
Which OGs?
I know, I know some people out there are crying right now because these switch hands a couple times, and I've received some pretty exorbitant offers on these. I'm currently just kind of holding off. I'm just enjoying them. But I traded a pair of dead stock militaries and a dead stock pair of fire red fours for these, and I had got cash back on top, and this is the best trade I've ever done to this day. I will say this
Love
though:
it.
the militaries that I did trade for these had no cracks and they were museum quality.
I do love a bit of rarity.
But
Yeah, that's a great story.
I would much rather have these.
Yeah, I agree totally. Those are amazing. And I think that is the only dead stock pair of the Nike Wings logo,
I
to my
think it is
knowledge.
as well.
Yeah, amazing.
You can see the dunk sole.
Yeah, I love a dunk sole on a Jordan 1. And this Jordan, the good thing about this one, this Jordan actually has a Jordan 1 upper more than a dunk upper. So it's a true blend between the two shoes. Whereas MJ's dunk sole is kind of more dunk sole width than Jordan 1 width. But still, we diverge. We were going to try and take some comments, and I've just had a message from the guys who are managing the controlling this, and actually one of my friends is challenging me because obviously we've got these two amazing OG collectors, and I haven't been able to do anything and shine at all because I'm an MJ collector. But he said, "Yo, Jared, um, you claim to be this MJP collector. Why is your Instagram name Jared OG6?" And this goes back to where you start as a collector. As a collector, I collected like OGs and I focused on sixes and I just love sixes. I used to have this amazing cabinet with like 6 pairs of all the original 5 colorways in mint condition. I loved it. And then I got into that and I got out of that to get into PEs. But for me, the six is just an amazing shoe. And we're breaking off the ones for a little minute because we want to give you guys a little look at the upcoming Travis, which we have here. This one also functions as a phone, so you can use it as a phone as well. So it's a really great phone. But to answer Puneet's question, who's a good friend of mine, that's Soul Supreme. It's basically to tell you that, I got into sixes because that was the shoe that he won his first championship year in. That was the 1991 season. And there's just so many great stories, like Ryan's Jordan 1 TYPS story, cracking that out in later in his career. The black infrared 6 is just an icon, and that's the colorway he wore in Game 4 and throughout the series in his championship season. And the it stuck with me that this shoe was a shoe that Michael Jordan proved how great he was. I mean, in Game 4, he had a toe injury when he sustained in Game 3. He cuts the shoe so that his toe is like sticking out, and he just plays through the pain. And it just shows that how resilient he was. And then the cool story, I've actually seen that shoe like basically in person because it used to be owned by a marketeer who worked with Jordan, and it was sold recently at an auction for something like $250,000. But he only played in that shoe for like 5 or 10 minutes because he switched into a second shoe, which I always love games where Michael Jordan switching in and switching out of shoe. But the 6 has always been a big model to me, and we've tried to drop a few hints throughout this this call and drop some knowledge. And the Foot District guys will send you out the information, or there'll be a link on their website as to how to enter their raffle and some of the questions you might need to answer to have a chance at winning one of these here in spirit. And a big shout out to Foot District for doing these cool educational pieces for the community, bring the community together, and just keeping it fun. So I'm gonna I'm gonna say bye. I'll let the guys say goodbye, but I really appreciate you all joining, and we will see you next time. Take it easy, people.
Yeah,
Thank
everyone,
you.
thank you for watching. Give us a follow if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully we'll see you guys again.
Thanks, everybody.
Adios.